Hello people, welcome to the hands-on session of data mining. Today we'll be learning the basic concepts like pre-processing techniques used on data. To begin with, I'll be stating what is data mining. Data mining can be described as examining a large-scale data set and getting an information out of it. Alright, to begin with, let's read the data and analyze it. Firstly we need to create a repository. Let's create a repository and let's name it as repository. We have a repository, and now let's create a subfolder in it. Create subfolder. This subfolder, let's name it as data, and this subfolder is to store our data set. I have the data set on the desktop. The data set has to be added. You can see the add button, my computer, desktop. Yeah, now we have auto.txt. I'm gonna remove the header row to make it simpler. Now, yeah, you see every column over here has particular data type. So let's make it, let's change it to make it precise. Let's change the attribute to and keep it as real. By keeping it as real, we have these missing values, so it doesn't know what to do with it. So let's replace errors with missing values. So these missing values are errors. Now let's save it, finish. Alright, and now we have our data loaded. Initially, I'll show you, this is the process panel where we do our work, and let's drag the auto set and place it over process panel. This is the auto. And now, initially I'm going to load the filter image, filter example. You see there's an attribute called filter example. This is an operator which filters out certain conditions which we mentioned. Let's get the necessary conditions. Right. Now the software which we're using is called RapidMiner. And now this is the parameter column. All right. Now whenever you select an operator, it consists of certain parameters, and these are the parameters for the filter examples. Let's sort it out. Let's filter no missing attributes. When you filter no missing attributes, we will click run, and you see initially we had this missing values in attribute 2, so it only shows no missing values. That's it. This is actually like to filter out certain information out of it. Alright, and let's go to the parameters. Missing attributes. If you click on missing attributes, you see these are all the missing attributes. This is just to get a preview of what are all the things available and to filter it out. Alright, these missing values can actually be rendered in two ways, either by replacing them or removing them. We'll try both of them. Missing. Let's try with replacing. Give the necessary connections. Yeah. Parameters for this replace missing values operator consists of the filter type. You can either replace all the missing values of a particular attribute. Let's go with a particular attribute, single. Let's mention it. Alright. What's the matter? I don't know what's the matter. Okay, 2. Alright. Now, there's a particular column over here. These values has to be replaced. These values can either be replaced either by maximum or minimum value or average value. It depends upon the option which you select. I'm selecting the average, and let's run. You see, initially we had these missing values over here in the first 3 rows. So these has been replaced by the mean value. You see, 122 is the mean, average, and this has been done. This is how we replace the missing values. And okay, let's try another concept. The next concept we'll be learning is about discretization. Discretization can be defined as the transformation of quantitative data into qualitative data. It's like you can particularly okay, I'll show you with an example. Discretization. Let's go with frequency. When you go with frequency, let's give the necessary connections. Yeah, now let's check the parameters. Over here, let's check attribute. Let's take a single attribute. All right, from all the attributes, let's select 2, and let's make it as 3. A bin. A bin is like a range, or there's a particular set of information or a quantitative data which is transformed into particular ranges. And now when you click run, you see this is a range, attribute 2 which we selected. I'll show you the details. Since we have given the bin as 3, there are 3 over here. The total from the beginning to the end, it's divided into 3 categories. You see, this is the range, and this is known as discretization. Alright, and the next concept we're going to learn is normalization. Normalization can be defined as a technique where you can fit the data in a particular boundary. Like, there are various types of transformations, and one example is the min-max normalization. Min-max normalization, yeah. This is the operator. Let's give the particular connections, and now let's check the parameters. As you can see, the attribute filter type, let's go with a single attribute. Alright, let's go with attribute 2. Now this is the method. You can either do it in various methods like Z transformation or range transformation. I'm going to show you the range transformation. A range transformation is where you give a minimum value and maximum value, and the values in that attribute are precised or compounded into this range. You see, 0 and 1. This is the min and max value. And now let's click run and see. Remember, initially we had 122 over here, which has been subsidized and has been compounded to value which is between 0 and 1. This is known as normalization. To be precise, min-max normalization. This is the concept of normalization. Now let's go with another concept. The other concept is sampling. Sampling can be defined as the concept of selecting or manipulating data into a particular subset. To be precise, subsetting a particular data is known as sampling. We have an operator called sample. Let's bring it to the process panel. Let's give the necessary connections. And now I'll explain you the parameters. There's 100 over here. The sample size decides the subset. Let's give it as 10. Now we'll see. Let's click run. You see, the total number of total number of rows have been subsidized and made into a subset of 10. This is known as sampling. This is done to get a precise information or to filter out certain data out of large database. Now let's learn another concept. The final concept you're going to learn today is correlation. What is correlation? Correlation can be defined as a relationship between two values. we have an operator called correlation matrix. Alright, I can explain you with this. Correlation is actually how two values are in a relationship, what kind of relationship they maintain, and how are they dependent, or how they perform actions. These are the two connections which we have to give for correlation matrix. The first connection is to get the assumption or summary of the result, and the second is to get the actual result. That is why we have to give the second connection also. Now let's click run, and yeah, now we see as a matrix has all ones as the diagonal matrix. And now I'm going to show you the charts. Scatter 3D. The x-axis is taken as the first attribute and the y-axis as second attribute. Now this gives us the relationship between the first attribute and the second attribute. You see, this is a model which is known as scatter 3D. You can view it in various axes, and I'll show you another scatter matrix. Scatter. Wow. These are the various chart styles in which you can actually, get to know the relationship or correlation between two attributes. And this is how you do it. This is how you get the correlation matrix. Thank you. That's all for today.